Hi, this is Daniela Wolf with Bestie Life, the podcast, and this is your community to support you through the little and not so little events that make up your day-to-day life. From the I've got this moments to the I just can't moments. We are here to empower all women to find and develop the skills they need to find peace, balance, and the bliss in their busy. Through solo episodes as well as interviews with amazing women who share their journey and their story and how it works for you. I hope you find the inspirations to make you laugh, think, as well as maybe rethink what you thought you knew, and connect as we realize that we are all living similar ups and downs and don't have to do it alone. So excited for you to hear this episode, and thanks so much for joining me today. Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, the podcast, and today I'm so excited for you to meet Myf Galloway. She is a life and performance coach who helps multi-six-figure female leaders achieve their goals faster and step into their next evolution by using her signature self-exploration, empowerment, and embodiment framework that I'm excited to dive in today. But we're going to go back first and go through Myf's whole background because she was an athlete. She was doing some lifting. She had all these other things that's kind of happened to get till there. So let's dive in. Myf, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited for our chat today.
So if you can share a little bit more about your journey going from being a high performance athlete to being a coach.
Yeah, definitely. And so for as long as I can remember, I've been passionate about finding out how people get the results that they do. And so for me in particular, that happened through the exploration of achieving peak performance in sport. So I competed as a professional road cyclist for a number of years. After I retired from that sport, I went on to compete in CrossFit and then competed at a national level in Olympic weightlifting, and then went on to do various other sports like AFL. And I still keep quite fit in the gym. And so I was really curious about how people achieve some of the top level results in the world. And my way for doing that was testing myself physically. And so I became really curious about what you need to do to be successful. And I found out that there is a framework for success. If you follow a particular process, then you can guarantee success, essentially. Through my athletic pursuits, what I didn't realize is just how important mindset was to achieving peak physical performance. Mm-hmm. And so that really spurred my interest into the mindset side of things, which I know you're really passionate about as well. And that opened up a whole nother world for me, which ultimately led to me becoming a coach as well, because at the end of the day, all of what we do comes from our mind and how we think and view the world. And so I realized that was a really key component to achieving peak physical performance, was how we work and manage our mind. So that's essentially what led me into the coaching space, was I realized just how powerful this work was for me in achieving the results, not only physically. Apart from my athletic pursuits, I also went and opened a successful business and won an award for my achievements there. I've gone on to achieve success in corporate life as well. And so what really spurred that, though, was uncovering just how the importance of what role the mindset plays in all of that.
Yes, I love that you say all of that. You're speaking my language, because like I always say, when you think differently, you feel differently, and you're going to act differently. And so it is so tied together. You could be a peak athlete performing at a high level, but if in your head you've got things going on, it's going to trip you up. It's going to get in the way. So, and definitely in business, in life, all of that holds true. So that's fantastic. So the framework you're working on, your self-exploration, empowerment, and embodiment framework, can you tell us a little bit more about that? What does that entail?
Yeah, definitely. I think for myself personally, what I learned was, as part of the embodiment piece of the framework, I was really good at doing the things. Mm-hmm. I had incredible coaches who gave me a plan, and I was really good at executing the plan to the best of my ability. And that's how I achieved a lot of my initial success. What outside of the sporting arena, what that looked like in real life is I was looking for people to tell me what to do and how I could be successful in those sorts of areas. So it was looking to society or my parents to go, what university degree should I do? What job should I get? And that worked for a little bit. But what I found was after about 6 months or a year in a role, I was feeling really miserable and just misaligned. I didn't have those terms at the time to describe it, but something just didn't feel right. And so the embodiment piece is, I feel like, really doing the thing. What was missing for me and what really sparked this framework for me, and it's a framework I continue to use in my life as well as with my clients, is the self-exploration component and the empowerment component of it too. So really self-exploration is uncovering what makes you you, what makes you tick. And as you well know, a lot of it comes from our past experiences, our childhoods, our values, our beliefs, all that sort of stuff. And unless you consciously choose to go and explore yourself, you won't actually understand yourself to the level that you need to be able to go, hey, what is it that I actually want to do in my life? You can essentially sleepwalk through life doing all the things that you think you should do, but feel really disconnected from what it is that you truly wish to do. So that really sparked the initiation of the framework through self-exploration. The empowerment is then really understanding that you have a lot more control than you think over your experience in life. We don't necessarily have control of all the things that happen to us, and nor are we responsible for all the horrible things that happen to us in life. What we do have is the ability to choose our response. And so that part of that framework is really equipping clients and myself in my day-to-day with the tools I need to really empower myself towards whatever it is that I'm looking at. And then lastly, as I mentioned, looking at the embodiment piece is really taking action that is aligned with the person you want to be, that you've discovered through the self-exploration component, knowing that you can do it and have the resource to do it through the empowerment section. And then really the last step is pulling it all together as part of embodiment.
That's fantastic. And absolutely, I talk to so many women where not only are they kind of just walking through life on autopilot, but not even knowing what they want. They're doing all the things they think they should do. They're meeting other people's goals and expectations. And to really take that time to be introspective, it's gotta be powerful.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the struggles that you kind of came across and challenges when you were on your own personal journey and finding out kind of who you wanted to be today?
Yeah, I would like to say that I suddenly sat down with a pen and paper, and then all of a sudden what I wanted to do with my life became super, super clear. But it is a journey. And I think that's what scares a lot of people off is a lot of clients that I work with, they come to me and they go, Myf, I actually just really don't know what I want to do. And I was like, amen to that. I went through that period as well. And a really great way to find out what you do want to do is through the self-exploration, and part of that is finding out what you don't want to do as well. Try things, figure out what it was like for you. And I did that with a number of jobs. So I've been in my I have a corporate job that I love. I'm also a personal trainer and a coach as well. So multi-passionate human being. And I can do that because all of those different roles are really aligned and meaningful for me. But before having this full-time role that I do now, I've been in there for 4.5 years now. I would change jobs every year. And there was a lot of shame around that, mainly because I was using that time to really explore what it is that I wanted to do, and I just kept coming up blank. So there's the component, part of the component for me was sitting down and assessing with myself with the support of a coach who could ask me the questions that I needed to do to really uncover that next layer of thinking, as well as going out and testing in the real world. Is this actually what I want to do? So a lot of my 20s was spent, and I think it should be for a lot of people. I shouldn't shit on people, but I think the 20s is a really good opportunity to really explore who it is that you want to be, and not be someone who just goes through the schooling system and then sleepwalks through the rest of their life.
Yeah, I don't think we appreciate the power in the pivot enough. I think we have to do everything perfectly. The first time we attempt something, the very first time we try something, we have to be good at it. It has to be our dream, goal and desire and things like that. And allowing ourselves, when I work with students, I'm always talking about they don't know what they want to do. I'm like, well, tell me what you don't want to do, and that can help narrow things down. And until we try stuff, we don't know what we do and don't like. It's kind of like when you have a toddler and you're trying to get them to eat like peas or something, they make these decisions without ever having tried stuff. And we always push kids to do things that we don't necessarily push ourselves to do as well. So I think that power of pushing ourselves to try different things and being okay with pivoting, like you said, it can be hard when other people are judging your life choices. but I think, your testimony itself, like you end up so much happier and so much more fulfilled when you figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, and
So
you touched on a really good point there with the pivot. I think it's also giving yourself permission to grow and evolve as well. You're not the same person you were yesterday, let alone the same person you were 5 or 10 years ago. And really embracing that, go, hey, who do I want to be in this next evolution of me? What does that look like?
Yeah. And it's not just for your 20s. I mean, I'm in my 50s and I am still figuring myself out, growing into that next level, next version of me. And I'm loving it. It is so fantastic. And so to give ourselves the freedom to keep growing, keep becoming who that next stage, next season of version of ourselves is going to be, is definitely a fantastic way to keep living our lives. So in that process though, you talked about kind of some of that shame, that judgment that people carry. How do you help clients work through those limiting beliefs as they're going through that transformation?
Yeah, so really great question. As part of the self-exploration process, we do look at what goals my clients have, and then we assess what limiting beliefs or what experiences with potentially some negative emotions do they have that are stored in their body and that are holding them back. So part of my training, I'm also trained in NLP. I also I trained in Reiki. I've got my level 2 and I'm a yoga instructor as well. So I'm really passionate about the spiritual side as well as not only the physical world. And so I really use those techniques to uncover what beliefs that you have that are holding you back, but more importantly, reframing them into more positive learning. And I always say to my clients, I'm like, we're going to do this deep work. It's going to be mildly uncomfortable and you're going to learn some things that can help you move forward. And so, from this day forward, this is no longer an excuse. Yeah. So for one particular client who I was supporting recently, we released some negative emotions around fear. She has a really she's moving into a new role and fear was really holding her back. And the lesson she came up for herself was, it's okay to let it go. And so I'm like, great, with that knowledge now, it's okay to let it go. So just let it go.
Awesome.
We're done here.
And you have a book called Actually You Can that I'm sure helps support readers in this same journey, correct?
100%. So the whole premise of that book is around another really powerful life coaching tool called the Wheel of Life. So again, it's a really awesome tool to help you take a 360 look at all the areas of your life and really objectively go, where am I feeling fulfilled at the moment? Which area of life, if I gave the most attention to right now, would help improve my overall level of fulfillment in life? I think at any point in time, you might have the burner turned up in one area of life. So you might be full work mode and then you look and you go, oh, my relationships are really suffering here. If I actually spent some time in my relationships, would my performance in work actually improve? Would it stay the same? Or how can I get, I don't like the term balance, but how can I get all my areas of life integrated a lot more to overall boost my level of fulfillment? So that's my book is a really practical tool to help you to start to do that.
Awesome. And where can people find that?
Yeah, so easiest place to find it is on Amazon. It ships all over the world through that platform. So just by searching Actually You Can and Myf Galloway, the book will come up there.
Awesome. So just curiously, as you've gone through these different kind of versions of yourself, what are some of the practices that you still do for yourself on a regular basis?
Yeah, 100%. So my real entry into this whole space was through physical movement. So physical movement is still a real key for me for testing and pushing myself. Another thing that I do regularly is also I was never really good at checking in with myself, as I mentioned before. So I do a lot of card reading, a lot of journaling. So essentially, I don't have set practices that I do every day, but I have themes and I use tools in those themes for whatever it looks like. So I always do something for my physical health. I do something for my emotional, mental health, and then my spiritual health as well.
I love that because I talk about a lot of the same things where, sometimes life is going to happen, unexpectedly, or every day is going to look a little different. And so having a toolbox and a variety of things that you can kind of tap into depending on what the day looks like is going to give you that consistency. So you are definitely like embodying all the things that I say as well.
100%.
And one of the other things when it comes to self-care that I think isn't talked about enough or utilized enough is gratitude. And I think there's a lot of power in being able to have that reflection and look at what we do currently have that is good in our life. And so what would you say are maybe the top 1 or 2 things you're the most grateful for?
At the moment, well, I can always say super grateful for my family. I'm also in my second trimester of pregnancy, so super grateful
Congrats!
to be able to go through this next chapter. Thank you, of life as well, and just really grateful to be on this journey. I would also say, I always say for my resourcefulness, and I know that sounds really self-centered, but I am really grateful for my ability to figure things out and having the confidence in my own ability. That's something that I haven't always had, so I'm really grateful for that gift and having been on that journey. And then also just the privilege I have, I think, just by default of being in Australia, living where I do, having the roles that I do, it comes a great amount of privilege. I work with countries all around the world as part of my corporate role. And it was really an eye-opener just by being in the environment I am, just what privilege and what gift that is as well.
That's fantastic. And that resourcefulness will definitely come in handy as a parent. You'll be surprised where you're like, oh my gosh, I got to figure this out.
I think I'm in for my biggest evolution yet.
But that's a great one. So where can people find you, Myf? How can they work with you?
Yeah, so I'm most active on Instagram. You can find me there at Myf Galloway. Otherwise, you can see, and I have a lot of free resources there that I'd love to share with your community. I also have my website, which is myfgalloway.com, and I also share a lot of learnings over on LinkedIn.
Well, thank you so much, Myf, for joining us today. I loved everything we talked about today, and I'm sure my listeners did as well.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks so much again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know any questions or comments that you have. Also, if you can please leave an Apple 5-star review so that this episode can be shared with more women. There's 2 quotes that I love. Alone we may be strong, but together we are stronger, as well as when women support each other, incredible things happen. So let's be stronger and incredible together, as well as maybe just have some fun along the way. Thanks so much and talk to you soon. Bye.